I don't think I have ever been so happy to finish a book because I'm like, I will never have to read this ever again in my life. I was just like, oh my god! I was just like, yes! Hello, and welcome to a new vlog. It is the month of love, and love is in the air, but so is the coronavirus. So remember, mask up. But anyway, moving on, since it is the month of romance, I thought that I would read some romance books, but I thought I'll do it in a fun way where I would read books that come under your favorite trope. So, on the 25th of December, I asked y'all on my Instagram, if you're not following, please do follow, what your favorite romance trope is, and a lot of y'all came through. However, 45% of y'all said your favorite trope is the enemies to lovers trope. 45%. That's nuts. Next was, I think, 25% with friends to lovers. After that was 13% with second chance, and then 8% was fake dating. So that was essentially like, there were a lot of other things which I will put here, but well, 45% of y'all said enemies to lovers was your favorite, which was nuts, but I was like, okay, let's go with this. Enemies to lovers is not necessarily a trope that I go for, so I was like, you know what, let's just do this and read books with this trope. So on the 4th of January, I then asked y'all for your recommendations, and taking your recommendations and doing my own research and finding books that I really wanted to read, I have decided to be reading 4 books in this vlog, which you will see me reading. The first one is Spanish Love Deception, which is a book that got the most amount of votes when I asked you for your recommendation. Next is Battle Royal, which is a book that you chose from my Feb TBR when I asked you to choose between 4 enemies to lovers books. Another one is Beach Read by Emily Henry, which is a book that I've been wanting to read for a long period of time. And the last one was Kulti by Mariana Zapata. This is not the order in which I will be reading them, but like you'll see. But before we move on to the section of this video where I start reading the book, I just thought that I would talk to you very briefly about my thoughts about the enemies to lovers trope. And as I've said, I don't necessarily like gravitate towards this trope. I think that it can be done really well, where like there's all the angst and the tension and the banter. The banter, something that I really look forward to reading when I read an enemies to lovers like book. And I think that a subscriber of mine very wonderfully like summed it up in like a comment that they put, which is, I think my favorite form of enemies to lovers is when it's done slowly. So they go from enemies to friends to lovers, and not enemies, but they're so hot, so now we're in love, which is what every YA book does, and I hate that. LMFAO. Wise words. I need to believe that there is like this enmity for a reason. I need to see that like tension, and I need to see it be believable. Just like how I need to see like their friendship to be believable or their attraction to each other to be believable. I just need it to be done in like a believable sort of manner. And I like to see that on page. So those are my thoughts. So if you have any like recommendations for any of this, I know I'm reading now like 4 other books, but if you have any other recommendations, please do like put them down in the comments, and let me know why you love this trope or what your favorite trope is. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, let's just move on now to the vlog part of this, and goodbye. Happy Sunday, everyone. I am in a good mood today because I have a croissant in one hand and then I have chai in the other hand. So life is going great. However, I also think that I should make it even better and start reading a book and kick off this reading vlog. So that's what I'm gonna do. So over on YouTube, I put up a video where I asked you to choose between 4 romance enemies to lovers books, and you guys chose. Luckily, it was a book that I kind of want to read. I kind of want to read all 4, honestly, which is why I asked you to choose. But I'm in the mood to read about baking. So I'm glad that Battle Royale won 9 votes over the other one, which was Sea of Ruin, which was a book about like pirates and enemies to lovers sort of stuff. That got 7 votes. So I might still read that one for this vlog because it is like dark enemies to lovers sort of vibe, which I definitely want to read as well. But let's see how time deals with all of that. But anyway, I'm gonna start reading Battle Royale. From what I have understood, should I keep this croissant down or do you want to just continue seeing it? Anyway, I'm gonna continue showing it to you. The book is about two pastry chefs who are competitors, and essentially the one lady pastry chef, she went on to this competition, which is kind of like a master chef or like I don't know, master chef sort of situation, where the guy is the judge, and something happened at that competition, and she was chucked out due to the guy's vote. So she doesn't like him at all, and he doesn't like her because he's very like I don't know, classic sort of stuff, and she's very like over the top, rainbows and unicorns and I don't know. I will find out. I will read when I find out. But that's basically what the enemies to lovers bit is, and I'm assuming something happens that they have to like get together and do something. I don't know yet, so I will continue reading and then find out. Hello there, mate. I don't know why I'm talking like that, but hi, welcome. I have finished Battle Royal. I keep saying Royale, like Casino Royale, that's what's stuck in my head, but it's Battle Royal, okay? And I liked this book, though I do think that there are a lot of like things that I didn't like about this book as well, though. Okay, let's just get into it. So, in terms of the enemies to lovers aspect of this book, I thought that that was well thought out and well done because, like, as I've said, they are actual competitors. Like, they have legit, like, stores right across from each other. So, like, they are, like, vying for the same sort of audience. Second was, like, the whole, like, competition thing that I think I spoke about previously, where he chucked her out. Now they are judges on the competition. Also, like aesthetics wise, they are very very different as individuals, and then the icing on the cake icing on the cake is that they are competing to be the bakers for the royal wedding that is going to happen. So there's a royal wedding that's going to happen, and then like the wedding cake can be designed by either two, so they are the main two competition situation people. So that's the thing. So you can see the enemies aspect of it, and basically the lovers happens because like they spend time together, because also this is not a spoiler, she is also becoming a judge on the competition, so they have to spend time together and all of that sort of stuff. And I like the way that it progressed. I thought that it was well done. I like their banter and all of that sort of stuff. However, the minus of this book was that there was just way too much going on. There were too many side plots in this book. There were like, I think at least like 6 to 7 side plots in this book, and that's like a lot. Like a lot of these supposedly important side plots, and I was just like, yo, what is going on? Like, there's a topic of grief that is discussed, for example. So there is, on 1 minute, there is like this passionate kiss that happens, right? And the next minute, literally right after that, there is like, they say something that reminds the girl of the night that her aunt died. So you're jumping from this to this, and then you're jumping to another side plot, and then another side plot. So you don't have time to digest everything. So I guess, like, if I spend some time away from it, I might like it more, because maybe I will forget the side plots and just remember the cute romance, which was nice. I liked it. Like, there was sweet pining, and there was like, ooh, we have like these weird vibes sort of thingies and all of that. I liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought that this book would make me crave more sugar, but it didn't, weirdly, which I don't know is like my problem or like the book's problem. I don't know. But overall, this was a nice book. I would recommend, but would also like have the caveat that it has a lot of side plots and it could be like just annoying to read in terms of that. But yeah. Oh, also the royals in this, if you're going into this book with like, oh, I'm going to see like Harry or like William or like whatever, you're not going to see them because they're completely different royals. Like it's like there's a king, for example. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, so that's my those are my thoughts. I am now going to go read more books. It is I. Hello. I have been spending the last few days editing. So I've been on my computer editing my best of 2021 video because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like creative this time and do fun stuff like make it an award ceremony and like make it really long. But anyway, so I have spent like the last 2 to 3 days like trying to edit these two videos. So I put out one yesterday, I'm putting one up today. So it's just been a hot mess. So I haven't really read too much. However, I have read about, let's see, 40 pages-ish of Beach Read by Emily Henry. Now this book I was really looking forward to reading because I've heard either really good things about this one or like not so great things about this one. But then I read the other book by Emily Henry, which was You and Me on Vacation, which was actually the last read of 2021 for me, and I really, really like that one. I like the things that she did with the characters and all of that sort of stuff. So I was like, okay, hopes are up for this one. Anyway, this one is essentially about two writers who live next to each other. The girl, January, is a person who is down on her luck and is kind of broke and now moving to her father's beach house. Her father died last year and he left this beach house to her. However, at the funeral, she found out that her father had like another woman in her life. So she's dealing with like grief but also anger. So grief seems to be like a thing that is now in romance books. I don't okay, but anyway, so she moved into this beach house and turns out that her neighbor is Augustus Everett. Now August and January. Anyway, so Augustus was like her rival in like college, like writing school bachelor thingy, and she's like, ugh, she hates his guts because he's like this literary writer who's like and she's like a romance writer, so they're very, very like different. So I can see like the enemies bit, at least, because they were like rivals in college, I guess. But yeah, I think this book too will be dwelling into heavy topics. So that's, I don't know, that seems to be interesting, right? Like that now romance books are like dwelling into like really heavy topics like grief and such. So, I mean, anyway, hope there are not too many side plots with this one. So that's my only hope. But I'm gonna finish editing this shiz. And then, I hope you check it out, by the way, because I'm losing my damn mind. And then I'm gonna get to reading this and come back to you with the thoughts. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my god. I love this book. This book was so good and was like the book for me. And I think that Emily Henry is the author for me. I think I'm going to pick up each and every book of hers and I'm going to be like wildly anticipating them because like I love the way that she writes. I love her characters. I love all the things that she has to say. It was just really well done, this book. I don't think that this book is a complete 5 stars for me. Maybe like a 4.5 stars. But I did really like this one. So yeah, A1. However, I do have to say, okay, so essentially in this book, we are seeing the people. I've explained it sort of to you. However, what happens is that these two are in a writer slump and they decide to exchange genres to write. So like Gus, who usually writes literary fiction, has to write romance, and January, who usually writes romance, has to write literary fiction, and then they like exchange notes and they like take each other on like these trips where like they explain their processes to each other and stuff like that. So it's cute, and that's how they kind of spend time with each other and like the bonds get created. I do have to say though, they weren't really enemies from the start. Like maybe they become friends in like the first 40-50 pages, you know, like they become friends pretty soon. So there's no like enmity per se. They are just like different individuals. Like Gus is a very different individual and January is a very different individual. So it's just they're different people. So there's no enmity. So there's no enemies to lovers trope in this. It's mostly like friends to lovers. And it's nice. I thought that it was very steamy in certain parts as well, and I got the whole like the what's it called, the attraction that they had. I thought that it was very well built up. Also, like, there was a particular scene where people say certain things, which I was like, I feel like that one line is gonna get stuck in my head forever, which is, "Are you praying to me?" Oh my god, it was so hot. But overall, I really liked it. I liked their banter. I think banter was well done, and I also liked the topics that they discussed in this, which were grief. But I thought that it was done well. I thought that, like, the way that you process grief and how you look at a person once that person has died is also, like, important. I also, like, thought that, like, topics such as romance and how we look at women's fiction and how that is labeled separately, was really well done. Like, I have actually marked this one part which I want to read out because I thought it was so well done. So January essentially says, "I know how to tell a story, Gus, and I know how to string a sentence together. If you swapped out all my Jessicas for Johns, you know what you'd get? Fiction. Just fiction. Ready and willing to be read by anyone. But somehow, being a woman who writes about women, I've eliminated half the Earth's population for my potential readers. And you know what? I don't feel ashamed of that. I feel pissed that people like you will assume my books couldn't possibly be worth your time, while meanwhile, you could shout on live TV and the New York Times would praise your bold display of humanity." Ah, I love that. Like, that is so true. Like, I love the way that we discussed the romance genre as well in this book, and like what literary people look at it like, and like, I don't know. I'm just saying a bunch of nonsense now. But overall, I really like this book. I would not recommend this for people who want to read an enemies to lovers, because that is not this. But overall, if you want to read a nice romance book that also talks about a lot of other topics, and have good, like, tension and like all of that. I thought the end, by the way, was a little dramatic, but it was fine. Also, I loved the way that January spoke about her best friend. It was just so nice. I loved the way she described her best friend. I was like, you guys really are best friends. Like, I can feel the love. But yeah, that was generally my thought. If you have read this book and you have thoughts, let me know down in the comments. I would love to discuss this with you. And now I move on to the next book, which is gonna be fun because I have legit, like, I think like 2.5 days to read 500 pages of this book called Kulti, and then another 500-ish pages of Spanish love deception. So that's best of luck to me. Yeah, that's all now. I'm just gonna go sleep and then read. Hello, happy Valentine's Day. This vlog clearly is not going up today. So, I have finished Kulti, but I have still to finish the Spanish love deception. I am just like a few pages in, to be honest. But I'm hoping that it will be a fast read. So, like, well, let's see. But I'm not here to talk to you about this book. I am here to talk to you about Kulti by Mariana Zapata, who is, by the way, known to be the queen of the slow burn, which is essentially where, like, the two love interests don't get together for a really long period of time, and you see that, like, tension sort of like happening throughout. And I really like that. I like that, especially with the enemies to lovers trope. I think that, like, that makes sense because, like, your enemies, why would you be like banging, you know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. This book is essentially like a sports romance, and I think Mariana Zapata does a lot of these, but this one I chose specifically because, like, it's football, and football is a sport that I know. However, you don't have to know the sport to get into it, because while they do talk about football, it's not like they don't talk about technicalities and stuff like that, so it's not like a thing that you'll be like, what is going on here, you know what I mean? But essentially, we are following this guy Kulti, who is like this huge footballer. He was like amazing, like god tier person, won like best footballer of the year like 5 times, and like is supposedly amazing. Though he is like said to be like very ruthless, and like he's not a very big team player. And he doesn't like talking to people, so he's very like grumpy of sorts. He's retired now, and now he's coming to coach this women's team in the US. And there's this girl in the women's team called Sal, who's the other main character. And Salome is essentially been she's worshipped this guy since like she was a child. Since she was 7 years old, she's worshipped him, and she's like, oh my god, this is happening. But there's also some like thing that has happened with her brother and this guy. So she's like, okay, I don't really like him, and like he's done some shit in the past, so like whatever. So there's enmity there, but then the enmity builds through the book. Like they really like, I like to see how they are not becoming enemies, like it's not just like said that they're enemies, but I can see that like clearly these guys don't like each other. So I liked that, where I was like, okay, it's like these guys, like they're saying shit to each other and they're not liking each other. I'm seeing it, and then I want to see from there how it becomes to like lovers. And it was really nice because they went from enemies of sorts, like not enemies, like they didn't like each other for sure, to like friends, to like besties, to like lovers in the end. And I loved that progression. Like Kulti as a person is not the most likable character. Like you are not supposed to like be like, yeah, he's the best dude, I want that sort of dude in my life, because he's a ruthless guy, and he's like really really sucks, but he's really good to her. And just the sort of things that he has in mind, and like the sort of ruthlessness that he has in mind, and wants to build that for her, and like make sure that her career is going well, and train her, and like all of that sort of stuff. Like I loved that, like how he was there for her at all points of time. It was just such a lovely like way of going about it, and it was so realistic. Like the 500 plus pages that I read was just went like, yes, amazing. So, the smarty that I am, I did not charge my camera. And I have to film another video after this. So, that's amazing. However, what was I saying? I was saying that Kulti as a person, not that great, but still, I really liked their relationship and their friendship. I think I loved their friendship more than anything. Like, there's this scene where he calls her his best friend, and that scene I like just shrieked out of joy. I was just like, oh my god, I was just like, yes. Anyway, so these are all not spoilers, by the way. This Anyway, so I was just really really happy about that. And like when they did become like lovers, because this is an enemies to lovers, so like obviously they become lovers. I was happy about it, but I wasn't as happy as when he called her his best friend. I was just like, oh my god, I don't know. I just really like their friendship. I thought that it was really really like sweet, annoying but sweet, you know what I mean? um so like it was good. Also, I like the side characters as much. I feel like she should have paid a little more service to the side characters, but it wasn't about the side characters, so I understand. However, I do have to shout out Salomi's dad. He is just such a sweetie. Oh my god. So he's also like a huge fanboy of this guy, like huge fanboy. And he just loses his mind. He is just I loved all of the interactions. Basically, I just loved character interactions and all of that sort of stuff. The only downsides to this book was that I don't think that the length of it was a downside. I quite enjoyed the length and all of that sort of stuff. The one thing that annoyed me just a little bit was like Sal's character. She was a little annoying, where in the beginning, in order to like divert her mind from fangirling over like Kulti, she was like, he poops. So imagine him pooping. So like each time she would see him, she'd be like, poop, 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 poop. And I love the poop emoji. Okay, like I really love the poop emoji, but like I don't like reading the word poop. Like again, like it just felt very childish. Like she's 27 or 28 years old. That she doesn't need to be saying poop all the time. That was just like but overall it was still like really nice. I really like the way that it went on, and I would highly recommend. I would definitely want to pick up more books by Mariana Zapata. I think there is this book called the something of Winnipeg, and then there are other bunch of books, which, so I'm really excited, and I'm glad that I found a writer like her in this. So now I'm gonna go film my video, now that like I have to charge my camera just a little bit longer while I get like my makeup and stuff done. But I'm going to be wearing like these earrings, so I'm really excited about it. I don't know if you would have seen that video and seen me wear these earrings. I don't know if they'll show anywhere. And I also have like this book in the back. which, oh, I have to maybe do something about it, but like it says all about love. It's a book all about love. So yeah, so I don't know if you noticed that in the previous video, but well, that's it. I'm gonna go get ready now, and then I'm gonna go finish reading Spanish Love Deception and come back to you with my final thoughts about this one, and talk to you about it in totality. Woo! So I finished the Spanish Love Deception last night, and I don't think I have ever been so happy to finish a book, because I'm like, I will never have to read this ever again in my life. I was just overjoyed by that fact. Also, never in my life have I wanted to throw a book, literally, because I'm like, I'm that sort of like Indian who's like, books are God and all of that sort of stuff. Like, I want to like preserve my books and like just make sure that like it's doing good, and like don't want to destroy it, but I want to destroy this book. Like, I want to throw it across the room, then pick it up and throw it again. I was so annoyed by this. Like, oh my god. Anyway, moving on. Just okay, I'm gonna have to talk to you about this book because I don't think I have told you what this book is about. But essentially, it's about this girl called Lena, who is part of this engineering company in New York. She is Spanish though, and she has this enemy who is also a team leader along with her in this thing, and his name is Aaron Blackford. Blackford, I think. And he is like this grumpy, brooding sort of man, and they've always like not got along. So she's like, he sucks. And even like in the very beginning, you see, like, the very beginning is she's talking to her bestie from work, and he stands behind her and he's saying something to her, but she doesn't want to turn around to like talk to him, and she's like, can you please tell, like, she's telling the bestie, can you please tell Aaron that blah 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 blah. And like, I was like, are we in school, are we in middle school? Like, what this is a professional place. You guys are like 28 years old or like older. Like, you guys are professionals. Like, you're managers and shit. Like, how are you talking like this? I was like, yo, cannot. I was like, okay, anyway, moving on. But essentially the idea of this book is that Lena has to go back to Spain because her sister is getting married, and she needs to take like a date because she told her parents by mistake that like, oh, I have a boyfriend, because like she doesn't want them to feel sorry for her because of something that happened, blah blah blah. So Aaron, who is this really creepy man, I must say, everyone says that Aaron is really like, oh my god, he's so nice and he's so like sweet and like all of that sort of stuff. I think he is like Joe Goldberg, because the man is like creeping around her and is like going to her favorite restaurant after she said that, oh, this is my favorite like cafe, and then he becomes a regular there. Why? Because he wants to like bump into her. That's so weird. Like, that's so weird. He like remembers everything that she has said, even though she hasn't said it to him. And in the book, he admits that he does all of this stuff, that he like stays around and sort of creeps around to like get a glimpse of her or whatever. And I was like, yo, that creepy, like that really creepy. Like, I would be like, red flag, red flag, red flag. I don't know why he's like made to be this amazing person, because like, I don't get it. Just because like he buys you tacos, which is great. I love a man who buys me tacos, but also I don't like a man to be like in my space all the time. You know what I mean? But anyway, so Aaron says, okay, you know what, like, I will come with you for this trip. And she's like, why are you doing this? Because like, I hate you and you hate me, so why will you want to be my fake boyfriend for like this trip to Spain? And he's like, no, I want to. And in return, he wants her to be like his date for this gala function thingy. So that's like a like give and take sort of scenario. But I don't want to talk about this book more, because I will genuinely lose my mind, because I was losing my mind while reading this, and I wanted to stop so bad, like within 40 pages, 50 pages, 60 pages, again like 80 pages. the good part about this book was that I read it really, really fast, like really, really fast. Um, so that's great. But I just really wanted it to end. I wanted to DNF this book. The only reason why I did not was because, well, it was the most voted on. And I was like, okay, I will persevere. And I did it for y'all. So I finished it. But I did not like it. I gave it a 1 star. I thought the enemies to lovers thing was stupid because the characters were really, really dumb. I did not like being in Lena's head. I thought she was really annoying, and just super childish. And I can't believe she's a 27-year-old who supposedly has a shit together. I just don't get it. She just didn't understand the like things that Aaron was saying. Like Aaron wanted to be with her very clearly, but she was like, "Oh no, he's just saying that." Like he was like, "I never wanted to be friends with you," and like he meant that in a way like, when I saw you, I never wanted to be friends with you. I wanted to be more than that. But she was like, "Oh my god, he never wants to be friends with me." But also, I was like, Aaron, why can't you just say that, like, you wanted more than friendship? Why did you just have to say, I never wanted to be friends with you? Like, I saw this review which was like, if Aaron had asked Lena out, then like this whole book would have never happened, which is so true. Like, just God, just like sort it out between y'all. So I was just, hmm. Anyway, I went through the entire book, and like a lot of really, really stupid, cliched things happened. And I have to give the author props for like stitching together a lot of like cliched things, or like a lot of things that I think like maybe like a 14-year-old Smriti would have probably thought of, like going for a gala thing, or like I don't know, having a kiss cam, or being rescued from the rain, or being picked up while I faint, or like, you know, all of these sort of things. These are like very like cliched things that I would have thought of. But I did not like it. Anyway, my battery is blinking, which is a sign that my battery also does not want me to talk about this book. So that's where we end it. Also, the sex scene in the end, I wanted to cringe because there were these lines where I was just like, what the fuck is happening? But yeah, okay, that is generally my thoughts about the book. Overall, I liked my time reading Enemies to Lovers. However, I don't know whether it's going to be like a thing that I gravitate towards, which was like anyway what I had said before. So we're on the same page. But if it's done well, I like it. I think my favorite in this vlog has been Kulti, because I got to see that enmity sort of pan out, and then to become friends, and then to become lovers. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that, as well as Beach Read. Yeah, the other two were fine. Spanish Love Deception sucks balls. Sorry to anyone who loves it, but that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining. Do subscribe, give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe. I don't know. Okay, bye.